All right, so this is question 16, probably one of the more interesting questions that he's put on the practice test, just because it tests your knowledge of the whole Java string pool idea, right? So before we really go into the question, um, we should probably review that concept in a couple examples here, right? So if I have something like string A is equal to I don't know, test. Or how about test word, where the W is capitalized, right? So what does that really do? Like if I run this line, right? What it does is it kind of like points A to the string in memory, right? Test word. Yeah, I guess like the string object even, right? So somewhere in memory is this object of type string that holds the string literal test word, right? So let's say that I have another string called string B that's also equal to test word same spelling, same spacing, same capitalization, right? So what is that going to do? Now, intuition, I guess, would probably say something like this, right? It would do the exact same thing that A did. So it would create another string, or I guess another location in memory, right? It would be a type string, and they'd be chilling in different memory locations. That's what you would think, right? But since they are the exact same string literal, what Java actually does is, probably for efficiency's sake, right? It actually has both of these guys point to the same thing, right? So because I didn't nowhere in this did I say new string, like new string and then test word, right? I just put in, string A is equal to just the string literal test word, right? And I did the same exact thing for B. So instead of pointing them to their own separate objects for memory and I guess an efficiency's sake, right? We're just going to point them to the same object in memory, the same sort of memory location, right? The same object. Now, if I do string C is equal to new string, and then test word, right? What is that going to do? Well, actually, I probably needed to envelop it in parentheses, didn't I? Yep, it's my bad. But what is this going to do, right? In a world where A and B are pointing to test word, what is this line going to do? It's going to completely ignore this, right? Because I said new string, right? I want a new location in memory, a new object to hold this string right here, right? So C will point to its own newly created object of type string, and then it is going to hold test word, right? That's the difference. If I just assign the string literal to a string placeholder, and then I do the same thing for another placeholder, they're gonna point to the same thing. The second I say it's a new string that holds that same literal, it's gonna give you a new piece of memory. It's gonna give you a new location, right? So these guys will not point to the same thing. So with that in mind, now we can kind of go on to the question a little more readily equipped, right? Something like that. So my night mode is going to make this a little harder, but to see. sadly, because like these are all like really dark purple on an already dark screen. So that says Newton in the same spelling. This says Newton in the same spelling. This says Newton with a capital N, right? And this is same and not same. All right. So all these are the same, as in the same spelling. We're gonna see how they look like in memory in a second here, but these have the same spelling. That's what I'm trying to say, right? So looking at main, the first line says that I need to declare a string, and what does it do? It points to the string literal Newton, right? There's no new to be found. It's just Newton. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have it point to this string. It's going to hold Newton in there. All right, so let's see what everything else is doing. String 2 or string 1 is equal to a new string, right? So a new location in memory, but it also holds the string Newton. So they have the same contents, but they are in different memory locations, all because of that sort of like new key character, or I guess keyword right here, right? And then string 2 will just point to nothing, right? Points to null. So now is where I guess like the question really begins, like the problem begins, right? So string 2 is equal to string 1. What does that entail? It just says that, whatever string 1's pointed to, have string 2 point to it as well, right? So what that kind of looks like is this, right? So this was actually, wow, that was my bad. String 1, string 2, not string. That was entirely my bad. It's a little late, but it's on me. String 1 is equal to string 2, right? So what is string 1 pointed to? It's pointing to this string right here, and that's what string 2's got to point to, right? So that's that line done. Now string 1 is going to be equal to the string literal Newton. You notice how there wasn't a new here, right? So it's basically the same I guess like line as this, right? So here we assign string to the string literal Newton. Here we're going to assign string 1 to the string literal Newton, right? So not a new Newton, but the same one the string, like the original string was pointed to, right? So we're going to point them down here, right? Maybe I should have like put in like literal here, just so you don't get confused between these two. And this is just following that same concept that we were just looking at before, right? We had string A was equal to just a string without the new keyword, right? And then B did the same thing. It was also equal to this exact string literal. So we go look over here again, right? String literal, they're the same string, right? So they ought to be pointing to the same location in memory, just like they're doing right now. Now we have to go look at these two conditionals, right? So I have if string 1 is not equal to, I guess, like the same location in memory as string 2. So let's go find out if that's the case, right? So where's string 1? It's pointing to the guy down here. Where's string 2? It's pointing to this guy right here. These are not the same memory location, right? They're their own objects, right? So this is going to end up being true, right? Because it said, are they not equal to each other, right? So I'll denote that with a check. And then this next guy, right? And is string 1 equal to the same memory location as string? Well, it sure looks like that because, they're pointing to the same object, right? So the thing being pointed to by string 1 is in the same location as the thing being pointed to by string, right? Just because of that, I guess like a string pool concept, right? So that is true. What's true and true is equal to true. right? So in other words, the if statement runs. What does that mean? It's going to print out same, which means that we should be selecting B, right? And then we'll, of course, go check, see if that's right. And yeah, it would look like B is the correct answer here. I'll see you guys in the next video.